supposed to click? Like, I don't want anyone to think I have a problem. So it sounds like
Give me an A also.
Someone wants to buy it from there.
All right, James, what did you think?
I thought his attention getter was good. His thesis was really clear. So was his preview, and he had good explanations and the audio clips and the visual. I thought it was good that he had a special interest in it because it made the speech much easier to listen, like a lot better, and yeah. Good.
All right. The audience survey and the questions that you ask, I think that takes up a little bit more time than you want. You need to kind of get to the point a little bit more sharply. I do think you have a very clear thesis statement, and you've got an excellent preview of what the content's going to be. The problem is when you get to the body of the speech, you're basically covering the material twice. It's like, let me go through this list once, and then I've got the visuals, let me go back through them again. And I think it would have worked better if you'd integrated the visuals as you were talking about each one. Save you a little bit of time, too, because you've got a 10-minute speech, and you know, it's only supposed to be 8 minutes, and you're a little bit over time. I think that would also make it work a little bit better. Because as you're talking about it at first, when you're first talking about it and you're describing the different kinds of woods and the sounds that it's supposed to be producing, I got to be honest, one of the reasons that I don't play any music is because I'm tone deaf. You know, it's one of those things. It's hard for me to pick out those kinds of things. It was much clearer when you had the audio clips going with it. I still, unfortunately for me, the more I heard, the harder it was for me to distinguish them. The first two, I could hear a distinct sound tone to what you were talking about. But by the time we got to the fourth and fifth one, I'm going, I'm not sure. You know, it's one of those things where people who are into music, I'm sure, pick up on it right away, and they know what you're talking about. But having gone through it all once, going through it a second time, it's like, oh my gosh, you know, here we are again, and it seems a little bit lethargic as a consequence. And so I think you need to restructure it a little bit. I did like immensely the visuals and the way you integrated the audio there. I thought that worked really well, except, of course, when you showed them. You know, that would be the one thing that I would change about it. Otherwise, we get to see, you know, what the wood looks like, and we get to hear the sound quality that you're talking about. We get to see what a guitar might look like when it's been used with that kind of material. And I got to be honest with you, you know, it's one of those things that musicians know, and I probably seem very naive about this. I had no idea about the quality of the wood influencing the sound of the guitars with the electric guitar. I mean, I understood it when I had people talk about this with acoustic guitars, and that made a lot more sense to me, and I just did not, you know, it's still a little bit vague to me how all of that works, but I could hear what you were talking about, like I said, especially with the first couple of clips. So I thought that helped quite a bit. You know, and I like the idea that you were consistent in using the same notes when you were doing that, so that it makes it easier for us to listen to the quality that you're trying to talk about. I thought there was a really good planning in that part of the visual material, so that worked pretty well, like I said, except for the organizational thing. I know that you did some research on this. This is just not your own information, so I think you needed to cite that a little bit more too. And because it's a pretty specialized subject, you might create a little bit more interest, for instance, in the audience if you had examples of songs or musicians who favored one kind of wood or sound, for instance, that might pull us in a little bit more on that. You know, because like you saw, only half the class plays an instrument, and even a smaller number play the guitar. So, you know, give us something to hook us into this, you know, as listeners. I think that would help too. All right, thank you.